Hi everybody, it's Marcy and I'm working on my rainbow journal. Today I'm starting to get some of my pages ready to go in the journal. I have pulled out a book that I probably will use. I don't normally make hardcover journals. That's not normally my preference, but I think for this one it will be appropriate. So I've got that I'm going to set aside because I don't know yet what I want to do with the cover. So the first step that I'm going to do, I'm actually taking my cue on this from Cara Brandon, and I will be doing mine similar to hers. I've got these white on the reverse, and what I want to do is I'm gonna sorry, my brain is moving faster than my mouth. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add some gesso to the back side of all my pages. And you probably won't be able to see this because it's white on white. But the gesso will help protect the printed side of the page when I go to add a little more wet medium to this. So, I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me do all 12 pages, and I'm not putting a hugely thick layer on it, just enough to cover it and move on. So, I've got my desk set up sort of assembly line. Got a paper towel here so that when I finish one, I can wipe away some of the excess gesso. And I'm just going to do this for all 12 pages. And then I will move on to the next step. Okay, my papers are all gessoed. And now I'm going to use some of my ground espresso distress ink. And I've got a glass mat over to the side. And I'm just going to rub some of that on there. Give it a little squirt of water. And I'm going to use a sponge that is damp. I got it wet and then I wrung it out so that it's damp, but it doesn't have any water dripping off of it, because I don't want to have more moisture. And I'm just going to dab it on my gessoed paper. Just give this a little age or grunginess. And then I will set it aside and I can move on to the next page, and I will do all 12 of my journal pages doing this. Okay, I got the ground espresso put on all my pages, and I've gone ahead and folded my pages and put them back in order. I've got a little piece of wax paper there, but we'll get to that in a second. So they've all got this grunged kind of feel to them. So now, for my final step is I do want to add a little bit of color back into the pages. And that's the reason I went ahead and put them in order. So here we've got red on this side and red on this side. So I'm going to want some red here. And you could use distress inks, but I'm going to show you another way to do it because I want to use various shades of the colors. In this case, the various shades of red. and I don't have all of the Distress Ink colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my markers. And you can see over here I've got my glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, don't sweat it. Use a plastic baggie or a piece of acetate. And I'm just going to scribble some color on there. Give it a little squirt of water. And grab my sponge. Dab it up. And dab it down. Okay, then I'm going to grab my second red. Scribble it down and repeat the process. And by doing this, I will get, they're not going to be hugely different shades of red, but slightly different shades of red throughout my page. Just to give it a little added interest. And a lot of this will probably end up being covered, but now I'm going for my third one. Another little squirt of water. And the wax paper I've got between the pages just to protect the papers that are underneath. And so now I've got some red on there as well. So now I'm going to do that for each of the pages. And then that part of the journal pages will be ready. And I'll be ready to move on to adding more pages. Okay, I'm back. And I've got all my pages that I had gessoed. I've got them colorized. And then the last thing I'm going to do for pages is I've gone through and selected some pages, some additional pages for each color scheme in the notebook. Or in the journal, sorry. And I want to show you how I'm going to put these together because these are both orange, but for example, say here, we've got red on this side and yellow on this side of the signature. So I didn't want to use the same papers, so I'll be piecing my signature papers, my extra signature papers together. So, and I've got some that are like that side I have no real use for. And I don't really have a use for that side. So I'll be putting this one on this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put down a little bit of my glue stick on the back of here. Because really all I'm trying to do is hold the page on. I will be sewing around these. So I just want it placed on there. Sort of as a temporary hold. Now on some of them, I'm not on this one, but on some of them I may be making pockets out of the two pages put together, stuff like that. But now, to attach them, you want to leave a little bit of space between. I've seen people use washi tape to do this. It's not my favorite method, but it certainly works. So I'm going to do what I saw Cara Brandon doing, which I don't know why it had never occurred to me to do this, but it hadn't. And that is, I'm going to use fabric. So I'm going to put gonna run some Fabri-Tac up this edge. And some Fabri-Tac up this edge. And I'm just using some muslin here. Take that. And run it down my page. And I'll probably need to do a hair shade more gluing with my Fabri-Tac to get it to lay down properly. But first I want to get it held together. Okay. So let's take that off. And flip this over. This side will have a flip out. And my Fabri-Tac's getting a little gloopy. I need to thin it down a little bit. And a piece of fabric over this side. And then I've got a page that will fold nicely without too much bulk into my signature. So I think I'm really going to like that. So I've got several pages that I'm going to do that for. And then in my next video, I'll come back and we'll see what we've got and where we need to go from there. So until next time, everyone, please be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.